Jesus fucking Christ. Like, when you thought he couldn't look or get any fucking worse, what he has done is literally beyond outrageous and completely disgusting. I mean, this is someone he claimed to have fucking loved, and kind of decided to do to Omnia what Chris Brown did to Rihanna. Except worse. Or the level of, huh? As I stated, I would be making this video after more information came out, and from everything I've now got on my hands on, this will probably be one of the biggest videos I make. And believe me when I say this is going to be a very insane roller coaster, because we are going to go over some very sensitive stuff combined with a bunch of fucked up shit, with statements from both sides of the situation. So, let's get into this. Also, before starting, while trying to get the stuff off of Omnia's Twitter, I ended up getting this for some reason. Thankfully, I managed to get her a new one. Everything starts with a Twitter thread by Omnia, where she comes out stating how she and Kai broke up and how Kai beat her, resulting in her getting a protective order against him, as well as claiming him to have completely locked her out of her Twitter due to him taking her iPad. Also, let's take a look here. You can easily see some bruising around her face. And I also literally just spotted her left eye. Guessing she has a lazy eye? I honestly have no clue. That just threw me off, not gonna lie. She then goes on to say that she trusted him with her passwords, that was stupid by the way, because she loved him and still cannot believe that he has locked her out of her Gmail and also deleted her channel, which she confirms by searching up her own name. And you can do it yourself, her channel is completely gone. Following it up by stating that she relies on her channel to pay for rent, as well as food for her and her cat. This is also something that I'm gonna end up coming back to later on. Omnia states Kai stole multiple items that were hers, like her iPad, Apple Pencil, speaker, cat food. Wait, what? Okay, why the fuck would you steal cat food? Out of everything? Why nick the fucking cat food? He also apparently stole her clothes. Is he okay? And this all happened in a single week. The assault occurred on the 3rd of December, and she filed for a protective order on the 8th, which was also when he left, taking everything she owned with him. I'm going to address him taking her stuff later on, because we'll be going over his response, where he brings this up himself. But after Kai left, Omnia then discovered Kai locked her out of her Gmail and Twitter, as well as deleting her channel, leaving her wondering what she even did to deserve any of this. And even I'm actually wondering what Omnia did. I can't think of a single thing that can make him do something this fucked up, other than him being a total prick and scumbag. I've been hurt by people I once genuinely cared about, and never once have I thought of doing something this fucked up. I would never do something so scummy to completely fuck them over by locking them out of their only source of income. Now, Omnia also has a cash tag, which is all she has as of right now of making money, and she seriously deserves a lot of support. And I can only imagine what she is going through, which she brings up by stating this whole thing has caused paranoia, not a fun thing to feel, I know from experience, as well as anxiety. The fact this whole situation has caused this to her is so mental. I feel so bad for her, to be honest. Nobody should have to feel like this. But Omnia then claims that when it came to telling him to get out, he responded with, "Make me." About the fact it's her fucking apartment, you brainless prat. Plus, she could have gotten the cops involved. And for you to then leave stealing her belongings, including things you never bought her, like her pencil, you talked about the iPad, so hold on, and her speaker, which she bought herself. Dude, you even sold her fucking prescription glasses, which were designed specifically for her eyes. What the fuck were you gonna do with it? And just reading the rest of this is just... seriously, I am beyond speechless. I have no words to say without literally losing it and going possibly racist. It's just completely fucked up and horrific. I'm also gonna address this bit, which she talks about regarding people giving her thoughts and opinions on the whole situation by going, "I don't like Omnia, but..." Look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know anything about her. I never really watched her content. Only real thing I know her for is her bad take on the Kai Akumu situation. But I also fail to see how any of that bullshit is relevant to the current situation at hand. Although, this bit is rather interesting. Omnia claims she defended Kai during the John Swan Akumu situation out of fear of being verbally and emotionally abused. Some people probably won't buy it, but who really knows? I mean, let's be real here, she lived with him. But I do agree with her with this line. It's very counterproductive. Who cares what you think about her past dramas? How does any of that affiliate to the current events? It doesn't. Keep that crap away from this. Hell, Mooney put this perfectly. This is a serious situation that doesn't need your personal thoughts on her being brought up. Omnia also provides this little tidbit, as she referred to it as, showing proof that not only is her channel gone, but also that Kai was responsible due to his account being under her private email for some strange reason. Oh, by the way, remember that account he made where he made a Pokemon video? Yeah, first he deleted that video, and then his channel. Huh? But Kai has an alt account that he made on the 27th of November, which Omnia provides a link for. And as you can see, it has 0 videos. And how does that even have 1 subscriber? Also, I literally just tried looking for this channel via the YouTube search engine, and I can't find it, either by typing in Prince Kai or Kai Weiss. But it's still there because I re-clicked the link Omnia provided on Twitter. I'm also actually upset about this, combined with a bit of frustration because of something completely irrelevant but worth bringing up for a sec. Omnia emailed YouTube asking for her channel to be reinstated due to being unintentionally deleted by a prick, and was saddened by the response she got by a person named Ariel saying that her channel wasn't hijacked, debatable, and the deletion was valid. Valid in my right testicle. Looking at this from YouTube's perspective, you can kinda understand why they think this, because as far as they're concerned, there was nothing that seemed off about it. But as we all know, Kai had access to her every single password, so it very much was compromised. It was hijacked. No YouTuber in their right mind with over 90,000 subscribers would delete their entire channel just out of the blue. They just wouldn't. Hell, Hopeless Peaches has over 100,000 subscribers, and she didn't delete her channel after shit happening. She just left. Many content creators will do that, whether for a certain amount of time or forever. But I mentioned I'd bring something up that doesn't really have anything to do with this. If your channel goes, it's gone forever. Somebody mind explaining her for me? Her channel was terminated after getting 3 strikes, and YouTube reinstated her channel within 24 hours. You people made an exception for her, so why the fuck don't you make one here as well? Omnia's channel was deleted by her ex because he wanted to completely fuck her over and just destroy everything she has. Everything done here was completely out of malice. People probably thought that after what Kai did to Akumu, it couldn't get any worse. Better now they're all wondering how worse can he actually get. Omnia also provides extra proof in regards to a post Dulu made, which we'll read in a sec. But she states that she doesn't own a Gmail with 2 X's in the beginning, as well as that she's never had an issue with being hacked until she filed for a protective order against Kai, stating that it all seemed very convenient. But let's go into Dulu's tweet. Dulu says that Omnia reached out publicly to them and didn't even realize it was a new account, and went and asked the hacked account if she was there, who then left shortly after. I feel really bad her channel won't be coming back, which sucks, but she said she'll be making a new one and starting from the ground up. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if her first video was talking about all of this that has transpired. She also talks about her pronouns and how Kai reduced her to whatever genitalia she has to his IRL friends, stating all she gives him is pussy and problems throughout their relationship. Not gonna lie, that is extremely fucked up. Like, claiming you love this person and then talking shit about them behind their back to your friends is just so goddamn scummy and infuriating. In fact, I actually don't overly blame this. And as for blocking the prick's friends, what sign? If you morons are gonna side with an abuser, then she has every fucking right to block you cunts. And they only know what bullshit you've told them. Now for the part that is gonna probably be a pretty big roller coaster of failure. Kai's response to the entire thing. However, good luck trying to find his Twitter because, as tips are provided, Kai deactivated his account by spurging tweet after tweet every 3 minutes in response to the entire situation. Just when you thought Kai couldn't be any more of a ginormous pussy than he already was. But thankfully, there is an archive of his entire response which you can find in the description. And thankfully, it allowed me to access his account for extra stuff to bring up. So, let's get into this. Stressballs at the ready. Kai first goes on to confirm that they have broken up, no shit Sherlock, and claims that her face being pounded like a rump of steak was all in self-defense. We're literally not even 5 seconds in and he's already lying. Omnia even mentioned that she didn't throw a single punch. She was pinned down and beaten. She even provided images of what he did to her. I mean, that's quite major. And if this was in self-defense, where are your pics of your bruises? If this was out of self-defense, don't you think the normal person would provide evidence that it actually was out of self-defense? And being falsely accused? From the looks of the bruises she has, I highly doubt she slammed her face into a door handle. Kai then also claims Omnia was sending him links to things she wanted him to pay for, although when you look at the screenshot he provides, she doesn't mention anything about him wanting to pay for it. In fact, she literally says, "Also, here's the lamp you asked about," and provides to explain what it is in more detail, and then goes on talking about hanging out in Fashion Square. If she had asked him to pay for the lamp, maybe show better proof of it instead of something that doesn't come off as her asking what you are claiming. Next up comes the claim of her stealing an almost $400 watch he paid for while going to the police, as well as lying about being at the location she claimed she was in the screenshot, that being Newcomb. Instead, she was on Market Street. He also says that she was using a cell phone line he was paying for while calling the cops, then provides a screenshot of the bill of the phones he paid for. I'm guessing the phone went missing later? Also, if you both split, why are you still paying? Then he goes on to say that everything he took was stuff he paid for, like the cat food. I'm going to be leaving this bit for a bit longer because he goes a bit more into the stuff he took, so don't worry. I will be addressing it, as well as the stuff she still has he apparently bought, which he for some reason says she won't return, for reasons I'll be addressing later. But then he claims that he was given 3 hours to grab his stuff and get out of the apartment, plus stating he'd get arrested if he was still there when she got home, and then says that she hugged him and wanted to set up the apartment with her before ruining his life, which you did yourself. And as for this bit, this was probably before you used her as a punching bag. Next up comes Kai accusing Omnia of being manipulative and two-faced since the beginning of their relationship, and provides a screenshot about her talking about him to a friend named Thuman. Again, this screenshot doesn't overly help your case. All you have to do is read what is said, including what information we have in this screenshot, to understand the context. Kai wanted both him and Omnia to wear matching shirts made using Thuman's merch, and Omnia goes on to call him weird, to which Thuman agrees with. Kai then follows up saying that Omnia says she was guilt-tripped into dating him, which he basically goes WTF to. And at least in this instance, he has a screenshot that kinda backs him up, while also doing the opposite, because Omnia is seen saying that she had said something to Kai that she had meant and felt guilt-tripped, and Thuman gives her some support and says that she shouldn't be with someone she's not interested in, and that if Kai leaves her, then that's on him. Although, in this case, she broke up with Kai, and it's on him. Kai then calls out Thuman for being just as two-faced as Omnia with this screenshot, which shows Kai telling Thuman his thoughts on something Omnia had done while thanking them for them supporting her, and then goes on to accuse Omnia of cheating on him with her ex-girlfriend. Wait, she's bi? Huh. Well, now I understand this bit more. Now comes the bit I said I'd be explaining later on. Kai has a pop at Omnia because she apparently had him buy a $160 vacuum for the apartment with a screenshot attached, which doesn't show her making him buy a vacuum, but instead inquiring on whether Kai decided on one or not, to which he says he just came out of Target with drinks and is waiting for a lift. By the way, if that's how Americans spell lift, I feel like you all need to go back to elementary, because that is not how the word is spelled. Nobody I talk to spells lift like that. Then goes on to talk about the clothes he bought for her he took, as well as other things like her prescription glasses and games and shoes. This is a major issue I have. Quick note though, the protection order is not bogus. You beat her, and this will be addressed later too. But the stuff you took that was hers, you had bought her, you fucking bought them for her, automatically making them hers! All of this stuff you claimed you took that you paid for, you gave her, you cannot take it with you because it's no longer yours. In fact, it was never yours in the first place. You bought it all for her. That includes the $180 AirPods and the watch she still has. They were things you bought for her. And she has done the same thing for you. She even mentions this. She even says that she did the same thing for you, and that's what couples fucking do. Which is true, it is. You buy each other things. And the funny thing about Kai talking about this is that he even fucks himself over by saying, she's mad now that I didn't allow her to keep all the things I gave her. You gave them to her. You can't then claim take back these because you're not together. You no longer own the fucking shit. Hell, I bought my sister some pop vinyl figures. If I move out of the house, I can't then take those figures I bought for her with me, because they're no longer mine to take. This is probably about as stupid, if not more so, than him striking Akumu for simply not liking him. And again, I have seen a fuck ton of Judge Judy where this shit gets brought up. And even if you did pay for said items, you didn't buy them for yourself. Unless you really like wearing women's bra and panties. You bought them for your girlfriend. You bought them as gifts. As presents. So you're taking all that stuff. She can take you to court and have a court order to get that stuff all back. And if any of it is busted or damaged, she can also sue you for said damage. And this tweet is just... what the fuck are you even on? A, this wasn't a false accusation. She has provided proof. You said you retaliated in self-defense. Where's proof of that, huh? And B, looking at the screenshot, trying to find the answer to his question, how do you speak this casually to someone who just be abusing you? While it does say Tuesday and also show he kinda has a point, we don't overly know when this was taken. Was it taken on the 7th of December, which was a Tuesday? Or was it taken on the 30th of November, also a Tuesday? Who knows? But for now, I'll give it to him. Don't get used to that. But then he goes on about it being in self-defense, which is just a load of bollocks, and that he was trying to save her from herself, as well as calling the cops on her for cutting herself and attempting suicide. But then goes on to say that he was told to strike Akumu by Omnia, saying, no one cares about what he says. Can we quickly bring this up?
A lot of claims have come around, like, with people saying that I did this out of malintent. I didn't do this out of malintent. I just don't like Akumu. I'm not going to be nice about it when I say that I struck down his video.
Also, if you are aware of fair use, you know that Akumu's video completely fell under it, and you wouldn't go on bitching about how it doesn't because of one fucking factor. So I don't buy this Omnia told me to strike him bollocks. Then Kai starts over-exaggerating about being thrown out into a snowstorm and that Omnia is a toxic person to be with, which begs the question, why the fuck were you still with her then? I also don't buy him not being responsible for her channel and Twitter being gone, since he had her iPad as well as knowledge of her passwords. Although this bit, I find funny. I loved her, and I never thought she would do this. Yeah, she felt the same about you, and she never thought you'd physically attack her like you did. Also, I already addressed this thing with the items she stole. You bought them for her, and she had done the same thing for you. Fuck. Like, when you think he can't get any more stupid, he goes and proves us all wrong. Next, he brings up a receipt for the watch he bought she's using, which shows how much it cost, and continues being a brainless lemming. I mean, you fucking admitted to giving her these items you did buy. Even the necklace she wears. All Omnia needs to do is provide this with you saying You gave them to her, and that basically invalidates your BS about whether or not you bought said item. Then he goes on to say that Omnia faked evidence of Pikachu being the alt of someone named That Rascal Rosie, otherwise known as Hopeless Peaches, which she states in her I'm Back video she uploaded recently, and also provides a screenshot, which I don't really understand what the fuck it's even banging on about. And I've addressed this line too many times to care at this point. I feel like I need to start setting up a counter on how many times Kai exposes how thick and stupid he is. And I'm not even touching this. I want to say that it actually kind of looks cute. But, stalking? Looking at this picture, that doesn't seem to be proof enough for me to say Omnia is stalking Hopeless Peaches. I still have pictures of my ex combined with screenshots I took during video call, which I just never deleted. That doesn't mean I'm stalking her. And that's not really enough proof. So, got any better proof here? Kai then goes on to talk about other things he bought, like the cat food, to which he brings up having a cat of his own, and claims he's the one no one fucking cares, that's totally irrelevant, you stupid prat. He also goes into more depth as to what else he bought, and even stating he had to call the bank to get all his money back. 1 minute, I need to exit.
Oh no! I'm still alive! Oh.
My brain is literally crying out because it cannot take the levels of stupidity anymore. I'm literally smashing my head against my desk, basically out of frustration. This person does not understand the fucking thing about living with another person. I've never lived with another person, and yet I somehow know far more about this than you do, Kai. I mean, let's take a look at the screenshot provided. Spencer Gifts, Krispy Kreme, GameStop, The Corner Grocery, Smoothie King. And even in his following tweet going on from this about her accusing him of stealing, provides this bill from Walmart. Bro, this doesn't help your case. In fact, it does the opposite. You are living together. You are expected to pay your fair share. When my parents buy takeout via Uber Eats, there are times I pay for it, as well as rent. And in his next tweet? Again, what Sunday was this? Without an exact date, we have no clue whether or not there is something rather sketchy here. If this was on the 5th of December, then... well, let's be honest, I wouldn't buy it. Not even the earlier one. Not if what you did. And how did everyone respond to this whole thread? By asking him what the fuck happened to her channel. And even pointing out that people have verified what she said was true, while with him, all we have is his word. Also, I like this little bit. You didn't have to be! You had her fucking iPad. It's not hard to have done it before she kicked your ass out. That's or you did it when you got back to your parents' place. Either way, nobody's buying your bull, and Blake Dalton makes a gigantic point here. You were living in her fucking apartment. And even the MILF, we won't go there, addresses more to add, not only in regards to bills and such, like Omnia paying $810 plus for the apartment food and other things, while you were paying $200 plus for the internet and electric bills. And they address the whole gift situation by saying that you gifted these items to her and that you can't take them back, as that's not what the word means, and even asks for the real story. And then follows up saying, or are you going to change the story again? Which wouldn't be surprising, let's be honest. Hell, people don't even believe your self-defense crap, because all you have to do is look at the bruises Omnia has to know this is bogus. If you truly did act in self-defense, then she wouldn't look like she got Hulk smashed. If you were truly acting in self-defense, then you'd A, provide images to prove your story, and B, wouldn't have thrown punch after punch at her face. At the very least, you'd try push her away with the hope of her tripping and falling, not hitting her head on anything, I should mention, and to make her break for the door. This story about it being in self-defense has more holes than Razor's head, and lacks proper evidence to corroborate your story. And the images Omnia provides also doesn't help your story, as if this was in self-defense, then she wouldn't be covered in bruises. What, are you gonna tell me Casper snuck into her apartment after you let them beat her? You were so screwed, bro. On the 11th of December, Kai Weiss was arrested for violating the protective order Omnia registered, and then posted bail, and Omnia addresses the fact Kai doesn't dispute violating the protective order, and I think even has a pop in him for supporting 12. Somebody tell me what the fuck that means. I'm not American, in case you couldn't tell. By paying them bail because he didn't want to spend the night in a cell. Kai addresses that there is a court date set, and then brings up something where he does make a good point in question. That's 2 out of... how many fails? Which is that if Kai did have access to the account, then how is Omnia able to view the channel? Although going back to what I addressed in regards to her channel being deleted, yeah, this kind of just further cements the fact you did this when you got home. Everything was fine before you left. Like, you don't have to be Detective William Murdoch or Private Detective Benoit Blanc to discover the holes and scenarios of how certain events transpired. Especially given that it doesn't really even matter, since as Infernal Tigress basically says, you are guilty as shit. Kai's next set of tweets don't make any sense to me. There was a snowstorm outside. Okay, I don't have issues with that bit. It's this bit. I thought your brother drove over and picked you up. How were you left out in the cold to die when your brother picked you up in a car that I'm assuming has heating and took you home? Also, not to really come off heartless to this, but how is it relevant? Again, you beat her and she felt unsafe in her own fucking home. Now yes, I'll give you some defense about her kicking you out during a snowstorm. That wasn't exactly the greatest thing to do, but you don't seem to understand the fact that she didn't feel fucking safe! And it kinda makes it more apparent when you put the blame on the victim of the story. How the fuck was any of this Omnia's fault? Like, you don't even explain what the fuck she allegedly even did. Don't you think that would make sense? Also, in regards to this screenshot provided, where Omnia is allegedly saying Kai isn't putting her through anything, apologize for the hurt her thread caused them, and... yeah. Hang on. What the fuck happened on the 18th of February? And how does whatever happened then make relevance to now? Is it me, or is Kai clutching at straws and making crap up to try and hurt Omnia more? Also going on, not only proving he doesn't know shit about how gift-giving works, but also still refusing to accept the fact he deleted her channel, Twitter, and leaving group chats they were in, when everybody knows as well that you knew her passwords to be able to do so. It's really not that difficult to believe. Hell, Neo even practically demanded Kai show whatever proofs he had to corroborate his story of self-defense, as well as telling him to stop contradicting himself. Although it's Kai Weiss, and that's asking a bit too much. Kai then proceeds to show these 3 screenshots with Trainer Kai, which no longer exists by the way, and the Kai Weiss channel with his new Prince Kai channel. And then provides this. Okay. I'm actually a manager of the Clusterfuck podcast channel as well as of RoboKnight's gaming channel, but RoboKnight is still the owner of his channel as well as of the Clusterfuck podcast channel as he created it. But here's the issue. He made this tweet on the 13th of December and claims the screenshot was taken yesterday. Yet Omnia made her giant Twitter thread about the whole ordeal on the 10th, even proving proof of her channel no longer existing. So, if we take this fact into account, how can a channel still appear as manager if it no longer existed the day before this screenshot was allegedly taken? When you take these 2 factors into account, you can see that something just doesn't seem right. He also keeps on insisting that he wasn't responsible for Omnia's Twitter disappearing and leaving group chats, and even claims Omnia knows he doesn't have an email with 2 X's in it. He even expresses that he is being very serious, but the issue is nobody is buying it. And as for the bottom line, rewatch earlier in the video. I literally just went over this too, and because I can only move fucked dealing with this. But I really love how people are literally telling him that what he has provided has proven shit. One person went as far as to say that he's just digging himself a bigger grave. He forgot deeper too. Here's another person who makes a lot of valid points against Kai. Kai also addresses the bail thing about how he didn't pay a cent, and I think he even calls Omnia a hypocrite for calling the cops on him. Like, I'm not gonna touch this due to not having those thoughts about police. Mainly because of the first 48, and the fact I've not seen that with New Zealand police. And we know how you got home. You mentioned your brother picked you up. But here is something that he literally thinks helps him and prove just how Omnia is, when it does the opposite once again. Especially since you even said this was a month ago, when you clearly didn't fucking look abusive, which people addressed. All people have to do is look at these 4 screenshots you've provided to tell that nowhere in them do you seem abusive. And let's be real here, bro, John's one is far more credible than you will ever be. Kai's response to this was leveled in utter fucking stupidity. Whether it was him talking about the stuff he saw from Omnia, which he claimed were his because he bought them, making up some bullshit about self-defense because of Omnia's emotions, claiming he didn't call the cops on Omnia because he didn't want her getting arrested because he loved her, yet you still punched her in the face and elbowed her non-stop, claiming he didn't hold anything over Omnia's head when you can tell he clearly doesn't seem to understand what that even really means, and just makes me want to blend my own head in a lawnmower. The only thing I could give him props for would be these screenshots with Omnia talking about all this with Thuman and Dulu, even bringing up Optimus talking about it and how he apparently doesn't know the context when he very much does as he's reading off Omnia's thread. I mean, what other fucking context do you need? Does he need to know what the planetary alignment was, knowing whether it was during a day when a polar bear and a penguin had a game of chess relevant? What else does he need to provide? Now, to put the lid on this, Kai Weiss ended up getting himself arrested again for domestic assault, felony theft, and other things which Omnia states she doesn't want to disclose any more info on due to fear of contaminating her evidence on Kai when the court date comes up. She also suggested that she's been asked to make a full-on video about the whole situation, which she states may not happen until after the day in court. And I think I'm right in saying everybody will be following this story, praying for justice for Omnia, who, let's be real here, has more evidence than Kai does intelligence. I mean, let's look at this. This shit all kicked off officially on the 3rd of December. We're in Christmas, people! Like, for fuck's sakes, this is the season to be jolly, not to sucker punch your loved ones due to lack of eggnog. And can we go back to Kai stealing Omnia's shit for a sec? Kai has a go at Omnia for keeping his shit, which he never took with him. Omnia mentioned that all the stuff he left that was his is just lying in a corner waiting for an officer to deliver it to his place, which you can see here. Personally, if nothing happens and he doesn't want any of it back, then I suggest putting it all up on eBay. Though if that does end up being the case, keep these 2 for me. I have a gigantic soft spot for card captors, so having them with me would be wicked. Though I do have one question. Why the fuck does Spinner's son have a boner? Also, for some reason, bizarrely, when Kai took his TV back with him, he left the remote. How the fuck does someone take the TV but not the remote? Personally, to me, all this is so fucked up on a ginormous scale, and it becomes even more so when you realize that this all took place just weeks before Christmas. And I feel so fucking sorry for Omnia. The fact all this happened to her, from becoming a punching bag to having her income taken away from her, is so heartbreaking. And I truly wish her all the best. And it actually is good that she tries to find some positivity in all of this, especially when she thanked people like Thuman, Dulu, Tipster, and even Hopeless Peaches for all their care and support, which even led Peaches to reply to that tweet saying that it makes her happy seeing the community coming together and that Omnia took a stand. And from all this, I think whatever tension between these 2 existed has come to an end. At least we can hope. Omnia, I honestly have no idea if you'll ever see this video, and if anywhere in this video I happen to cross a line, I apologize. I don't want to cause any threats or jeopardize your case against Kai. That's the last thing I want to do. But from everything that this video has produced, I think it's clear that Kai doesn't have a leg to stand on. He's provided basically nothing to really back up his claims, unlike you. And every claim he has made is full of so many holes, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to pull them apart to find the flaws. What has happened to you, Omnia, is so disgusting and heartbreaking, I can literally feel the pain this is causing you. And it's hell. But just know, nobody is gonna let him get away with this. Every one of us is here to have your back, and we will be praying that you get the justice you so rightfully deserves. But until that day comes, everyone, support Omnia in this situation. However you can. And I'll see you next time.